I feel like we really are on the cusp of the mass institutional adoption, both of DeFi and of other blockchain technologies.
One of the things we all have to remember is that the value of a token over the long term is really going to be derived by its utility.
Hey there, future millionaires. Welcome back to the channel. It's so good to have you here again. I hope you're having an absolutely amazing day, no matter where you are around this incredible world of ours. Today, we're diving deep into XRP. And I know what you're thinking because you ask me this all the time. When is XRP finally going to rocket to those insane price levels we've been waiting for? And when will we actually see real-world adoption happening? Well, here's the thing. I'm about to blow your mind because it's already happening right under our noses. Get excited, because Swell 2025 is coming to New York. And let me tell you something. We have never seen this level of private sector involvement in the speaker lineup. We're talking major players, folks. This isn't just another crypto conference anymore. The writing is on the wall. Traditional finance isn't just dipping their toes in the water anymore. They're ready to dive headfirst into crypto assets. Big moves are coming, and you're going to want to stick around to see what this means for your portfolio. All right, check this out. When you see who's actually participating in this thing, your jaw is going to drop. Look at these names on this list. I mean, seriously, just look at them. This isn't some wishful thinking anymore, people. This is concrete proof that XRP isn't just maybe the future, it is the future, and it's happening right now. What we're seeing here is institutional adoption that's already started rolling. Sure, we're still in the early stages. It's happening at a pretty low level right now, but here's the kicker. We're literally just waiting on a few final pieces to fall into place, and when they do, game changer, folks. Absolute game changer. David Schwartz pointed this out in this clip. Take a listen.
I feel like we really are on the cusp of the mass institutional adoption, both of DeFi and of other blockchain technologies. I think this is also like one of the key obstacles to mass retail adoption. A lot of people in the space previously thought that retail adoption was like the big wave. But I think institutional adoption is a precursor. You have to connect to where people are. You have to go to where the value is. You can't build a new financial system from zero, ignoring the existing financial system where everybody's money is, where all the value is, where the real world is, trillions of dollars in value. You can't just say, forget about all that. Let's just build something new over here. It doesn't work. And so I think this wave of institutional adoption over the next year or two is going to be what's going to pave the way for mass retail adoption. And then we can deliver on those promises. Like, we all want to bank the unbanked, but like the unbanked, like they have to be able to spend their money to buy groceries and pay their phone bill, and so we have to have that institutional connectivity. And I don't think there are any obstacles. I think that's and I think this conference shows that.
Okay, so let me break this down for you because this timeline is absolutely wild. David said this back in April. So if we do some quick math here, we can actually knock 6 months off his original 1 to 2 year prediction. That means we're looking at mass institutional adoption happening within the next 6 to 18 months. Can you believe that? But here's the key piece we're waiting for. Regulations. That's literally the only thing standing between us and the floodgates opening. Once those regulations get the green light, it's like giving institutions permission to go absolutely crazy in this space. And when that happens, oh man, we're talking about a tsunami of adoption that's going to change everything. Institutions will rush in, and suddenly you'll be able to spend crypto at your local grocery store, your coffee shop, everywhere. Here's the mind-blowing part. Even people who don't own crypto will be using it without even knowing it. They'll be making lightning-fast payments through blockchain technology running quietly in the background. It's happening behind the scenes, 24/7. Remember when people used to laugh and say, mass adoption? Yeah, right, maybe in 2035, or 2030 if we're lucky. Well, guess what? They were so wrong. This is happening way sooner than anyone expected. We're already seeing the first wave. Okay, maybe it's more like the first ripple of institutions jumping in. And here's where it gets exciting. It's creating this massive network effect. Once a few big players are in, all the other institutions are going to panic and think, we have to get in now, or we're going to be left in the dust. Now here's where things get really interesting. I think we're going to see institutional adoption steamrolling through all of 2026. But wait, I keep hearing people say, oh, XRP is going to rocket to $50 and then crash right back down under $1. And honestly, I'm just not buying it. Not this time. Here's why I think they're completely wrong. We're not dealing with your typical hype-driven crypto anymore. These are utility-driven cryptocurrencies we're talking about. There's real-world use behind them now. I'm actually predicting something that's never happened before. We might see a full-blown utility run during alt season instead of the usual pump-and-dump madness. This changes everything. And get this, Apple is getting ready to approve iOS games with Bitcoin and crypto integration. Now, why is this such a big deal? Because it's pure genius marketing. Think about it. People start playing games with crypto. They get comfortable using it. Then they start thinking, hey, this crypto stuff actually makes sense. Next thing you know, they're investing in it themselves. It's like a perfect onboarding system. And here's the kicker. Apple isn't the only one doing this. Android is jumping on board, and we're seeing these integrations popping up everywhere. It's like watching dominoes fall, but in the best possible way. Huckle. Like I mentioned earlier, this is already starting to happen. We're just seeing it on a really small scale right now. So Dom from EZA dropped some insider info about what Apple Pay is planning, and it's pretty exciting stuff. But here's where it gets funny, and I'm not trying to throw shade here, but you've got all these Bitcoin maximalists over at Steak and Shake getting super pumped about using Bitcoin to actually buy things. And hey, I love the enthusiasm, but here's the thing they haven't figured out yet. They think Bitcoin has cracked the code on instant settlement, but it really hasn't. I mean, Lightning Network is cool and all, but let's be real. It doesn't actually do instant settlement like they think it does. This is where things get interesting, because while they're still working out the kinks, actually, here's something that might blow your mind. Lightning Network is basically just another version of SWIFT. I know, that probably sounds crazy to some of you, but hear me out. What's really happening behind the scenes with Lightning? It's all about pre-funding. That's it. It's not this revolutionary instant settlement system that everyone thinks it is. It's just moving money around that's already been set aside ahead of time. So when Bitcoin maxis are celebrating these instant transactions, they're basically using a fancy version of the same old banking system we've had for decades. And Grok actually breaks this down perfectly for us. So here's what's really happening with Lightning. First off, you literally can't spend more than what you've already locked up in those channels. It's like having a prepaid card, not a magic money printer. Then you've got all this complicated stuff going on behind the scenes. You need to manage something called inbound liquidity. You have to stay online all the time, and there are these things called watchtowers constantly watching to make sure nobody's trying to rip you off. But here's where the critics really nail it, and they're absolutely right. It's not real settlement until everything gets recorded on the main Bitcoin blockchain. All this Lightning stuff is just happening on what they call Layer 2, which means it's totally dependent on the main Bitcoin network to actually make it official. Think of it this way. Lightning is basically just a network of IOUs that happen to be backed by Bitcoin. And if the main Bitcoin network gets attacked or gets super congested, well, you're in trouble. The best comparison I can give you is this. Lightning Network is essentially just SWIFT with a Bitcoin twist. It's not the game changer everyone thinks it is, and it definitely doesn't give you true instant settlement. Sorry, Bitcoin maxis, but that's just the reality. And that's why they hate XRP, because XRP actually settles. Take a listen to this.
One of the things we all have to remember is that the value of a token over the long term is really going to be derived by its utility. What problem is it solving? How big is that problem? How many customers do you have? There's no question there's a lot of hype in this system, and I don't actually think that's a good thing. For Ripple, we use this digital asset called XRP to settle liquidity needs between banks. So today there's $27 trillion parked at different banks around the world so they can make payments between each other. Our view is you can use a digital asset like XRP to do that in real time. Because XRP has been so efficient, it settles a transaction in about 3 seconds compared to Bitcoin. So it just passes through that currency for that period of time. That's correct.
Yeah. And that's exactly what Ripple has been trying to solve this whole time. They looked at the banking system and said, this is insane. We've got $27 trillion just sitting there, locked up in Nostro accounts, doing absolutely nothing. Think about that for a second. $27 trillion. That's money that could be flowing back to banks so they could actually use it for things that matter, like giving you a car loan or helping families get mortgages. Instead, it's just sitting there, frozen. But here's the irony that's honestly pretty hilarious. Lightning Network is doing the exact same thing. It's basically creating its own version of Nostro accounts with all this pre-funding nonsense. They're not solving the problem. They're just recreating it with fancier technology. It's like putting lipstick on a pig and calling it revolutionary. Lightning isn't game-changing at all. It's just the same old banking system wearing a Bitcoin costume. And here's the kicker that'll really make you think. If you actually want to use Bitcoin effectively for transactions, your best bet is probably doing it over the XRP ledger. I know that sounds crazy to Bitcoin purists, but sometimes the truth hurts. ... And here's what's eventually going to happen. Those Bitcoin maximalists are going to have to swallow their pride and admit there's a better network out there. It's just going to take some time for them to come around. But let's talk about the elephant in the room. XRP is literally the only digital asset that actually terrifies Bitcoin maxis. I mean, seriously terrifies them. And you want to know why they hate XRP with such passion? Because it's doing everything Bitcoin was supposed to do, except XRP is actually pulling it off. Bitcoin had this amazing vision, but let's be honest, it didn't quite stick the landing. XRP, it's been delivering on those promises this whole time. That's exactly why I believe XRP is destined to become the #1 cryptocurrency. It's not just wishful thinking, it's basic logic. But here's what really keeps them up at night. They know there's a real chance that during this bull run, XRP could flip Bitcoin's market cap. Can you imagine? And if that happens, game over for the Bitcoin narrative. Their entire belief system, everything they've built their identity around, comes crashing down. That's not just losing money, that's an existential crisis for the Bitcoin community. No wonder they're scared. All right, check out this chart. This is showing us the top 15 best-performing large-cap assets and major stock indices over the past 12 months. And wow, look who made the list! You've got Bitcoin sitting pretty up there, Tesla crushing it as usual, Google doing its thing, and a bunch of other heavy hitters. Pretty impressive lineup, right? And then Mike drops this bombshell. Cough, cough. Oh, by the way, XRP has a 750% gain over 3 years. Now here's the thing that's absolutely hilarious to me. Notice how they conveniently stopped at 12 months for this chart? That's not an accident, people, because if they actually showed you the 3-year performance, XRP would be absolutely demolishing Bitcoin on that list. And it's not just going to outperform Bitcoin, it's going to keep crushing it moving forward. But here's the dirty little secret. They can't let that narrative get out there. They've got to protect the Bitcoin story at all costs. Why? Because they need to keep that hype machine running full steam ahead. Think about it. Someone's got to keep buying Bitcoin at these high prices so the early investors can cash out. They need fresh retail investors coming in, thinking they're getting the next big thing. Classic exit liquidity strategy, folks. It's honestly kind of genius, but also pretty brutal when you realize what's really happening behind the scenes. You know what? This has been the most brutal bull cycle we've ever seen for altcoins. And I get it. You're probably sitting there thinking, this doesn't feel like a bull run at all. And honestly, you're absolutely right. Because guess what? The real bull run hasn't even started yet. What we've been experiencing is this endless, soul-crushing grind with prices just moving sideways forever. It's been exhausting. But listen to me. If you're still here, if you're still holding on after all this madness, you need to give yourself a pat on the back. Seriously, you're part of an elite group of survivors. Most people have already thrown in the towel and walked away. The fact that you're still watching this video, still believing in the vision, that makes you a winner already. All you need to do now is stay patient just a little bit longer. I know it's hard, I know you're tired, but we are so close to the finish line. We're talking about life-changing money here, the kind of financial freedom that makes all this waiting worth it. Because when this thing finally takes off, and trust me, it will take off, this run hasn't even begun yet. A lot of people are sleeping on this, and I had to share this awesome update from Flare with you guys. They posted this fun diary-style message. Dear Diary, today I minted FXRP, picked my route, and put XRP to work. Share your FXRP strategy. How are you putting it to work or planning to use STXRP? And get this, they're spotlighting the best posts from the XRP diaries and giving away limited edition Flare Ledger wallets to the winners. How cool is that? Now listen, we're still super early with Flare right now. As I'm recording this, you can grab Flare for less than 2 cents. I'm telling you, you absolutely need to stack a decent bag while it's still dirt cheap. Trust me, you don't want to be kicking yourself later. Flare is going to be an absolute monster in this space. Now, it might take a little time to really get rolling, but when it does, we're talking absolutely mind-blowing growth. A lot of people are going to make serious money off Flare in the coming months. I think Flare is going to start breaking out big time as the ecosystem builds up. Picture this. More and more FXRP gets added to the network. everything starts connecting and branching out. That's when we're going to see Flare's price shoot up fast. And here's the thing. If you're holding XRP, there's literally no reason you shouldn't be holding Flare too. I actually think of Flare as basically a Ripple product. I mean, Ripple was backing them from day one. They're just adding even more utility to XRP, which is incredible. But until all this magic happens, just stay patient, keep that positive energy flowing, and let's get rich together. All right, everyone, that's a wrap on this video. Thank you so much for watching. I seriously appreciate each and every one of you amazing people. I'll catch you in the next one, and have an absolutely fantastic night.